In this video, we'll look at Booleans and operators, logical operators and comparison operators. Let's start with Boolean. So what are Booleans? Actually, we've seen some before when we had a name and just a variable. And then we use name, we put a dot, then we press tab, and we see all the methods of the strings. And we had this, is digit, is space, is lower, etc. So I'll take is lower, if I see it here, and I try that, and it says false. So what is false? If I write it myself, it becomes greens in Jupyter Notebook. That's because it's recognized as a different type. I put type of false, and I see it's a Boolean. If I replace that and I put true with a capital letters, it says bool. So those two are Boolean, true or false. So that's pretty easy so far. Now it's how can we use that? Well, as you've seen, you could receive Booleans from methods. So for instance, is lower was 1, so we could say we could save it as a variable. Is lower equal as name is lower. And then we could use another one, and we could have, for instance, is alpha, and we use the if alpha method here, which check if we are using letters or not. So let's look at each of those. I'll print them. So print is lower, it will be the first, and below I'll print is alpha. False and true. Why? Because, well, it's not lower, I got a capital letter, and true because it's all made of letters, right? So if I just redo it like this, both are false because I say my name is Charles 1, then it's not pure letters, so that's why alpha is now false, and I still have a capital letter at the beginning, so it's not everything at a lowercase, hence everything is false. Now we could combine that, and that's what we'll do with logical operators. If we say, hey, is that both is lower and alpha? So we would do this, we'll say, yeah, let's check if it's lower and is alpha. So with and, we're checking if we have both. So both need to be true so that everything is true. Like, let's do that. I run that, I look at is lower and is alpha, up, I check the value, it's false. Why? Because they were both false. So if I'm not lower and if I'm not alpha, so basically if I'm not in a lowercase and I'm not made just of letters, then I'm definitely not made both of alpha letters and in a lowercase. If I want to fix that, well, I could just remove this number, and now is alpha is true because I'm made just of letters, but still is lower is alpha is false because I'm just only one of the two is true. So the combination, the and, checking if both are true, is still false. Now if I change that and I say Charles without a capital letters, then both are true, right? Everything is lowercase, everything is made of letters, so the combination of two, is lower and is alpha, is true too. So we could do that with another example so that it stays really true, really clear. And we could do it with, this time we'll do it with Are, another logical operator, and we'll do it with pet. Okay, so do I have cats, right? Have cats. And I'll say it's true, you have cats. You can change it and just put the reality you have. Have dogs, we'll say it's false, right? So that's just the Boolean you have in your variable. Now what you want to check is, okay, do you have animals? Animals. So to have animals, you either, not both, you either need to have cats or either need to have dogs, one or several. If you don't have cats and you don't have dogs, then you don't have pets. We'll change that for pets. It's the same, right? But now, if you have both, then you have pets. If you have only one of each, or one of one category, you have one cat and you don't have a dog, you still have a pet, right? So here it's going to be like this. We'll say have cat or have dog. And this will give me true. So I need to print it. pets. And it's true. Why is it true? Well, because I need to have only one of those. Now, if I don't have a cat, it's false. And I don't have dogs, then I don't have pets, right? Because you need to have one or the other one. If you want to understand better this, if it's not obvious, it's some part of algebra, you just need to look for the logical table, and then you'll see, okay, what happened when you got a combination of true or false for something that is and, or the negation, which is not. We'll look at it right now, which would be, okay, what would be the opposite of that, right? I don't want to know if you have pets. I want to know if you do not have pets. So I just have to put not. Not is like the negation of this, and then it's true, because you don't have a dog, you don't have a cat, and I want to know if you don't have pets, and it's true, you don't have pets, right? So you can play with that. Those are Booleans, and that's the logical operators. You got and, you got not, and you got or. So also something that is relevant to know is you can, instead of or, you can put a vertical bar. It means the same. Or if you want to play with the and we could change it here too, and is like this. So you can write and, or you can do it like this. It has some consequences, but for now, let's just leave it like that. So it has consequences in the order the check is done, but if you use bracket anyway, it will be good. I'll give you an example right now. I'll put back and, or, it was or, and we'll look at the comparison operators. So what is a comparison? Comparison is when you compare two things, right? So you could compare, for instance, 1 is superior to 2, right? So that's a comparison. And in this case, it's false, right? So here it's stupid. I'm doing it with number myself, but if I did it with variables that I manipulate, then I can check if something is bigger than something else, and it will tell me true or false. So is 1 bigger than 2? It's false. Now, is 1 smaller than 2? It's true. Now, if I say is 1, or let's say, well, but 2, is smaller or equal to 2, then it's true. Now, if I had put only smaller, it would be false, because 2 is not smaller than 2, but smaller to or equal, then yes. And the same can be done with bigger or equal, true. Now, if I only bigger, false, because 2 is not bigger than 2, but it's bigger or equal than 2. So that's the comparison operator. Now, if you want to do a negation and you want to say not something, you would do it with this symbol, the exclamation mark, and you say, hey, is 1 not equal to 5? And it's going to say true. 1 is not equal to 5. Now, if you want to say, is 1 equal to 5? You cannot use just equal. You need to use this. You need to use the double equal. Why? Well, because just 1 equal, we know what it is. It's what you use when you want to assign something in a variable. So we cannot reuse that again. That's why in this case, we use double equal, and then it becomes comparison, and then it gives back a Boolean. So that's it for now. This will be super useful for conditions. And that's exactly what we'll see in the next video.